Hello, and welcome to Two Different Worlds. My name is Carl Stedmond. My co-host Alan Fisher is not here today, but I do have a guest with me. He's become a friend of mine over the last 3 years, and Sam is going to talk about his experience with ayahuasca. So please, Sam, come on the set. Welcome to the set.
Hello,
Sam Doosti.
Hello, Carl. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, brother. Absolutely. So we're going to talk about ayahuasca. Ayahuasca has been spoken about by many people over the years, and a person I remember talking about it was Sting from the band The Police, and he talks very highly about it. And you done your trip with ayahuasca about 2 years ago, Sam, and I noticed such a huge change in you since you come back after that. Can you describe your experience with ayahuasca?
Yeah, I'd say like after, I experienced, this ayahuasca kind of like slowed down everything for me, put it in like everything became like a slow motion for me, taking the stuff with much more like awareness, like the things that are happening around me rather than being hasty, being in rush, taking my time, listening to the others, like understand the others, the events that they're happening to me, like around me, be more conscious of it, be more aware of it, and also be more focused at the present moment,
That's what I was going to say, yeah. So in the present moment more, because a lot of us until you have, I had a shift in consciousness. I spoke about this before, where my whole life changed, and all of a sudden I became more present in the moment, because my mind wasn't. Most people they say that most people have hundreds and hundreds of thoughts every day, and they're the same thoughts, and a lot of them are negative. So you found that completely slowed down after ayahuasca.
Because that when you go to that trip, to the actual journey to that, because I went to Peru, to Iquitos, like in Peru, which is like in the middle of Amazon jungle, right? And this place that the retreat center was, it was like a secluded place. So naturally, when you go to that place, everything is at like a slower motion, because there is no hustle and bustle of the city life, and the only sounds of the crickets, at night, the bats like flying around, the frogs,
So what was the experience like? Because I've seen so many different things about ayahuasca, and a lot of people have had really hard experiences. What was yours like?
Like I didn't have, like in the beginning, I was a little bit afraid, like not afraid, but a little bit worried, what's it gonna be like? But I started actually reading this and this, like online, like I didn't want to do a research on it and see, okay, what the other people's like.
You didn't want to scare you, right?
What the other people's like experiences are. I said, okay, I'm gonna leave it to myself, the way that I want to experience it. And I actually like started writing a diary, like a diary book before even I left like Canada, right? I said, okay, I'm gonna write down this before I leave, and then I put down some intentions that I had, But anyway, when I went there and then I experienced it, like I actually like the first night that we attended the ceremony, and I like drank the medicine, it was like a horrible taste, like it tasted really awful, right? And then I was thinking to myself, what the hell I got myself into, like what is this, and then I started like feeling like nausea, I started vomiting, and I was feeling really bad, but I didn't have any visions. Like my first time, that I drank ayahuasca, like unlike the other people's experience, I didn't have any vivid visions.
How many times did you drink it? You was there for a week, right? Five days?
I stayed there for 5 days, and I drank it for 3 times, like during that time, right? So we drank it at one night, and then we had 1 day break, and then we drank it another night. So the first and second night that I drank it, didn't have any visions, but what was really unusual was actually connection to everything around me. Like the jungle was alive, as if it was breathing in and out from me. The sounds are so like close, as if it was inside me, like sounds of the jungle.
And that's very common with a lot of people who take it, right? They feel very connected to nature in such a profound way.
So it was a kind of a sound, also the sound of the shaman. The shaman was singing. That was a sound experience, like with his voice and with his ikaros. I was really feeling connected to that as well. So it was a more kind of a sound experience that I had. But the third night that I actually tried it, the third time I didn't want to even try, because I had a little bit of, I don't know, at the end of the ceremony, for the second ceremony that I was actually doing, I was feeling that I'm feeling really dizzy and out of place, and I had a little bit of fear, like at the end of the second ceremony. So going into the third ceremony, I was a little bit worried that I didn't want to do it, but the Maestro William, who is the like a retreat owner, he said, don't worry, like a lot of people, that's why you do it 3 times. So the third time will be different, just try it.
Third time's a charm, as they say.
Yeah.
And so it all worked out well.
Yeah. So the third time, when I drank it for the third time, then I don't know, like it was like even I had actually like less amount of ayahuasca brew. Like the first 2 times, it was even more than the third time. But even third time impact and the visions, they were so strong. It just took me to another world.
Do you think it was maybe because each one that you'd done was basically getting you ready for the third one, sort of, getting rid of, because it's almost like cleansing the body in a way, isn't it? All traumas and things like that you've had in your life. From what I've heard and what I've read, I've never done it myself because I've never felt a need for it, or I've never felt a calling to do that. I had a shift of consciousness because of great pain in my life for many years. But I think it's, a lot of people have said to me, it's like a shift in consciousness in a bottle type of thing, It's so profound, and you had a profound shift, didn't you, Sam? And your energy is so different when you come back.
Maybe because also the visions, my experience and the visions that I had, it was like not like kind of a nightmare or really kind of a terrible visions because of my past, because of the life that I've had. It wasn't a turbulent life.
Right, you've said that a couple of times.
It's been a peaceful life that I've been surrounded by loving people, loving family. My mom and dad, they were supportive, So I didn't have that, turmoil or suffering like during the ceremony, It was all good. And then at the third ceremony, I felt the strong presence of love. That's what it was, because I remember. Do you want me to talk about the vision that I had for the third ceremony?
Briefly, Sam, briefly.
Yeah, so the third vision, I actually, one of the intense scenes that it was actually there, it was the scene of a mother and child, that they were sitting together at the window, and they were looking at me, and the mother had hugged the child, and I was just connected to them, like physically, emotionally, like spiritually, that we were coming together with this mother and child, and it was so intense feeling of love, and it was so close to my heart. So that was really the climax, of the show.
That's beautiful, Sam. That's beautiful. And one thing I can say, I haven't experienced it myself, but if there's anyone out there that is, having a hard time in life, because we talk about a shift in consciousness, and some people, might say, what the heck is a shift in consciousness? But I know, since I went through a shift, which is, it's basically, it's almost like your mind, you don't torture yourself as much, and you become so aware that you're almost the observer of yourself. It made such a huge difference in my life. And if you're going through a hard time in your life, and it could be something that a lot of people could use, would you say, Sam? And if it's done for the right reasons.
Yeah, I think the main thing, for all of these things that you do with your life is calling. That's what I've come to, if that calling is there, if something is there that's actually attracting you to this, it's there, just follow it.
Yeah.
Don't ignore it.
Yeah.
If it's there, if it's burning inside you, then if you actually give attention to it, if you put your focus on it, then it's going to actually lead you to the place that you're supposed to go, right?
I agree, Sam. I had this massive realization, probably about 10 years ago, that the human brain is a supercomputer. But like any computer, if you've got a virus in that computer, it doesn't work properly. And from the time we're born, we're getting programmed with so many things that aren't correct. And we're not being told that we live in a matrix of energy, and we are indeed energy. We're actually consciousness, but we're not aware that we are consciousness, and consciousness is eternal, and all the great ones have taught us this. So to come to that point in your life, your life becomes so peaceful with things that were so, we had to talk about it before, the ego does not run your life anymore. You don't have to be right, you don't have to argue, and if someone has got an opinion, well, that's your opinion, that's okay, because you know who you are at your essence, and it's not really a big deal. So the things that used to be a big deal in your life, and you start to realize that your pain in your life only comes about when you think about that as being a problem. It's an experience, and it's the way your mind thinks about this thing that causes the pain, and that ayahuasca can help switch that off. Sam, do you think?
Yeah, I think it can be a factor, can help you, assist you to do that. But as I said, you need that. You don't want to do it for entertainment or for the curiosity or stuff like that, right? You want to do it because there is a calling from within your heart that this is what I want to do, right? So I think if someone is thinking about, so I think it's not actually thinking involved anymore. It's kind of a loving. It's like it doesn't come from the mind. It comes from the heart.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So if it's there, then do it. Just go for it. That's what happened with me, because it didn't take me that long to decide that I want to go. I just had this calling, and I said, okay, I'm going,
And you come back a better man.
Well, thank you.
And as this sign says, thoughts are things, where the tension goes, energy flows. Stay positive, dream big, and you can accomplish all the great things in life.
Okay. Thank you for having me here. I'm really happy, that I talk to you about my experience, and I'm actually watching even your interviews with Alan, and I really enjoy those as well. So
hello, Alan, if you're watching.
Yeah, just keep on doing it.
Yeah,
it's a great show.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks for coming, brother. Thank you.
Okay. Have a good night.
You too. Thank you. I met Sam because I teach his child martial arts, and just a quick little experience I had with Sam a couple of years ago. I just taught the class and run out the dojo, and he said, why are you always in a hurry? And there's me always talking about living in the now. Actually, it was probably about 4 years ago, right, Sam? And it's from that moment I said, actually, Sam, we have a meditation, but you might enjoy this. So thanks again, Sam. And so for everyone out there too, it's a very hard time what people are going through right now on the planet. So please, no matter what people's opinions are, whether it's mask, no mask, whether you believe it's real or it's not, or how bad it is, we're all in this together. So give each other love and hope for a great future for our children's sake. Take care. If you like the video, please subscribe and give it a like. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.